it back over. Ooh, isn't that fancy, right? Back and forth, like so. And forth. And that. So microcosmic orbit meditation is a traditional Taoist style meditation that involves moving qi or energy in the body, up the center line of the back of the body, up over the top of the head, down the front, down between the legs where you're sitting to the perineum or the pelvic floor, where what's called the meeting point of yin, the hui yin point. And then it goes up the back again, down the front, up the back, down the front. And whether you're literally moving something called qi or energy, whether you're imagining moving something in the body, whether it's something else or some combination, not important for our purposes right here, but it involves experiencing movement in the body, up the back, down the front, up the back, down the front. And among other things, at least as I understand it, as I think about it, you're training the body to work with some kind of kinesthetic imagination, to begin to feel and experience and focus on, at least imagined, maybe some kind of real movement in the body. There's a lot of ways you can do this, and we can play with variations of, if not microcosmic orbit, at least variations of what we might, if we want to be all fancy, call kinesthetic imaginings or kinesthetic meditations. So, like, what's one way to do this? Well, I'm experimenting here. We'll see if this kind of works. But one way to start is to just have your hands and just imagine you're sort of transferring from one hand to the other, back and forth, like you're sending something back and forth, like maybe you're tossing something back and forth like a ball. This is probably not like the rhythm you would use for most balls, or like there's something going back and forth. Maybe like there's like a fluid going back and forth. And so one way to do that, if you've got yourself some cups or some glasses or tumblers or something with fluid in one, you can actually practice pouring one into the other and back and forth. So let's see how that works, right? So I got my one, I'm going to pour. Ooh, look at that. One into the other. And I can feel it get heavier in my left hand. And then pour it back over into the right. And then pour it back over. Ooh, isn't that fancy, right? Back and forth like so. One to the other, back and forth. And that like just maybe to begin training it. Now, if you just want to imagine, right, you're pouring one into the other, or, right, you're imagining it, so you can just kind of like imagine you're kind of moving between the hands, one fluid and then the other, back and forth. And sort of once you get the feel of it, you can bring the hands closer together and, right, just kind of imagine you're like moving some kind of viscous fluid. Now, when I started this stuff, I was a hard case, and I was like, what the hell is all this talk about moving qi? But you might think of it in terms of just like pretending, right? That's good enough for our purpose. Now, this is going back and forth with the hands. There's variations you might have that. But the one I'm going to invite you to do in a moment is not just back and forth one side to the other, but is around in circles. So you might think, here, I got my other little prop, a bowl with some water in it. And you might imagine kind of circling the bowl of water. And so you're getting the water to spin around the sides. I don't know how well you can see that. I think it's good enough for government work, right? And getting the feel of moving the water and kind of both moving, like I'm actively moving the water, right? I guess that's the physics of this, but I'm also responding in very fine-grained ways to the inertia and the various forces as I'm pushing this thing around. And then if I want to go the other way, right, I have to get it rolling. Ooh, it's almost coming out of the bowl. We're going the other way, right? So maybe that's helpful. I don't know. But just sort of imagine that you're now sort of moving something around in front of you. This is something similar to a move we sometimes do in Hunyuan Qigong called belt channel grinding. I'm doing a little bit higher just to get it in the camera angle here, but you could bring it down to the level of your navel, right? So I'm not doing anything untoward here. I'm just kind of circling my hands about the height of my navel out in front of me. And you could circle them the other way, right? Back and forth. That's maybe kind of silly. I wouldn't typically do this like out in public, right? As a performance art or something, but you feel free to do that. And so that kind of sense of like moving these around. Well, now I'm going to invite you to play with a little bit of meditation. So find yourself in a comfortable seat. I'm on a chair, but you could do it on a cushion on the floor if you like, or on the edge of your bed, or wherever you want to be. And for this, just have your hands resting palm down on the knees. And with the eyes either opened or closed, I'll keep my eyes open so that, I'm being polite here to the camera and you all, but eyes either open or closed. Imagine around your waist, at the height of your navel, there is a horizontally oriented ring that goes around what's called your belt channel. It's one of the 8 extraordinary meridians in the acupuncture vision of the body. So take a moment and just notice the parts of your body touching closest to the earth, whether it's your chair or the cushion, and whether it's the knees if you're kneeling down, or the bottoms of the feet if you're sitting in a chair. Have the tongue up to the roof of your mouth. And just imagine that you can look down inside your body and see from the inside this belt channel around your waist, the height of your navel. Just imagine that there's like a marble-sized ball of light. Actually, here, imagine there's like a bowl of water there. We'll use the prop we just did, the imagery of that. There's like a big bowl that somehow fills up inside your body, so that the height of the surface of the water is inside the body at the height of your navel. And just begin in your imagination, begin stirring the water around. And if your eyes are open and you're watching the screen, it might be that the stirring of the water is slower than I'm actually stirring this water in this actual bowl. Just imagine that it's beginning to circle around. Doesn't matter which way you go at first. Just kind of spinning the water around. And if the eyes are closed, you might actually move the eyes in their sockets, looking down, just kind of watching it flow. Let it go as slow as it needs to go. From the navel around to the side, to the back, and then back around the other side toward the front. Circling. You might actually imagine your breath is like a pair of hands just kind of stirring it inside your body. Got some wasps out here, just kind of keeping an eye on them. So you're stirring it. And if it's something that you can sort of feel it in the body, with your kinesthetic imagination, or maybe your sensing of qi, that's fine, that's good. And if it's just visually imagining it, or just using the kind of abstract intention of it all to think about it, that's okay too. As you're circling it in the body, whichever direction you're going, just imagining it moving, you might begin to feel it as if it's got some inertia to it. So when it comes around front, it's kind of pushing forward in your abdomen toward the front. When it goes to the back, it's kind of inviting the body to kind of sway back with it. You might actually begin to spiral the body as you do this. If that seems silly, just do it with the focus of your intention. And if you're imagining it's water or fluid inside the body, just begin to get the water to begin to press toward the edges of the inside of the body. Whether it's going fast or not, it's just beginning to move toward the edges, right? The inertia is pushing it toward the edges. In front of the body, and in the back, and the front, you're just pushing it around. Tongue up to the roof of the mouth. You might feel something like kinesthetic echoes of the movement at the height of your belt channel, as if it's happening at the roof of your mouth, the place where your tongue touches the upper palate. You might bring spinning helicopter blades above me here. You might bring the movement, not necessarily into phase with the breathing. But as you breathe in, you just might imagine wherever it is, you're adding energy to the circling. And just breathe out, release. So it doesn't have to all be in some kind of perfect phase, but every time you breathe in, as you breathe in, just imagine you're adding energy around to this. Imagine spinning a few more cycles around. And then begin to release the adding of energy to it and let the flowing water just begin to slow itself down. And when it reaches a still point or near a still point, just begin with intention, circling it inside the abdomen in the other direction. Beginning to get it spinning whichever way the first way was, you're going the other way. Just looking down with the eyes, maybe imagining that somehow there's kind of a pair of chi hands that you can somehow use inside your body to get it stirring. Maybe going a little bit faster, maybe using the in-breaths each time, wherever it is in the phase of the movement of the spinning, just to add speed to it, and getting it moving now so that the water is pressing up against the insides of the body at the height of your belt channel as it circles around. And then begin to release that. The water come back to a still point. And then just take a moment, the eyes either opened or closed, and just notice what it's like as you breathe in, breathing into your belly, letting the abdomen expand. Breathe out, let the abdomen release. A couple times like that. And then when you're ready, you can take whatever time you want. The eyes are closed, you open the eyes, you can look around, and just notice how you feel, and when you're ready, pretend nothing happened, go about your day. All right. I don't know if that worked. We'll keep experimenting with this stuff, but thanks for playing. All right.